Behind your name. I got the wrong team up there. You just go ahead and sit down. I'll put them in the right spot. Here I was all thinking I was all ready and ahead. Yeah, it will go easy. Not bad, Dylan. We have Oklahoma head coach Lon Kruger with student athletes Rashard Odoms, Christian Doolittle, Christian James, and Brady Manick. If we could have the first question, Coach, if you'd have an opening statement, and then after that, if we have the questions directed first to the student athletes, and then we'll allow those individuals to be dismissed, and then follow with questions for Coach.
Yeah, just really happy for the guys. I thought they were really sharp. A lot of respect for Coach Davis and the Mississippi program, and our guys had a good week of practice. I thought they transferred things from practice to a game today, and again, from start to finish, pretty solid, good communication defensively, and that really moved the ball and identified some matchup advantages on the offensive end. So proud of them, happy for them, and ready to go watch some ball games.
Open the floor to questions on the right side. Please wait for the microphone, and if you would, please identify yourself and your affiliation.
Christian James, I'm from Newswatch Ole Miss, Colin Rivera. I just want to ask you, you opened up with 2 threes to start the game. Did you have a really good shoot around, feeling really good opening the game? Because you guys were offensively explosive to start the game.
We did have a good shoot around. We've been having a lot of good practice, just getting reps up and things like that. But, yeah, the ball felt good today. It just felt good today. Try to give my team a boost.
Second row in the aisle.
Wayne Epps with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Guys, just how much momentum does a performance like this give you moving forward, looking ahead to Sunday?
I think it gives us a lot of momentum. Just moving forward. Ole Miss is a good team. So we just want to go out here and get momentum and just get as much as momentum as possible and just keep it rolling. We're gonna watch some ball games and regroup and get ready for Sunday.
On the aisle on the left side.
I guess, Doolittle, this one's for you. Did you think you could have this kind of dominating performance inside? I mean, you had 15 rebounds, I think 19 points.
Going into the game, I wasn't, I couldn't have predicted I would have had 19 and 15, but, I'm glad to have it. Just doing whatever my team needed me to do, getting it going early in the first half. And then, my teammates took over for the remainder of the first half, and then the points were spread out evenly across the board. So just taking what the defense gave me, not really forcing anything, just following the game plan.
On the aisle on the left side.
Rashard, that was one of y'all's best shooting performances, I think, of the season. Maybe West Virginia was just a tick better. Did you feel like y'all were going to have that? I mean, have you had practices and the shoot-around and everything? Did you feel like it was going to be that kind of night for you?
Yeah, like Christian said, the previous practices have been great. We've been having great energy in it, just locking in and making shots. So, we felt like what we did in practice really just transferred to the game.
On the aisle right side, inside aisle.
Yeah, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Brady, you guys, what you guys each do individually, you did today, but you also did some new stuff, like when Freeman posted up and you ran baseline, he hit you with a bounce pass. I don't think I've seen that all year. Did you add some new stuff today for Ole Miss?
I think we were just playing basketball. We came in, we wanted to have a lot of energy, and I think we did that, and we just played together and just played basketball. I mean, I don't think that was a set play or anything. We just made a play and went from there.
Back row on the aisle.
Dick Cox with Lindy Sports. This is for any of the players. When you get off to a start like that, does that pretty much just loosen you up today where you didn't have any pressure or any nerves and could go out and play your game?
Let's start with Richard.
I don't know. I think it just sets the tone for the whole game. You know, I felt like we just carried that momentum throughout the whole game as well. You know, we just wanted to deliver the first blow. You know, and we doing things like that, great outcome comes. So that's all we wanted to do.
Christian, if you'd like to, Christian Doolittle, if you'd like to add to that.
I mean, I guess he said it better, like basically way I would say it.
Back row in the corner.
Gabriel DiBiase, Night Sports Productions. This is a question for Richard. I mean, obviously y'all came out as a team collectively, just really filling up the basket, but you specifically with 20 points. Was it something about your matchup that was just favorable to you, or just good sight lines in this gym, or what was it really about you for your performance tonight?
Oh no, it's just the team really got me going. You know, before the game we was all hype, and it's just the way everyone's been practicing previously. So you know, the team found me for good looks, and you know, I just finished honestly.
In the middle aisle again.
Yeah, Christian Doolittle, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoma. You guys came out red hot both halves. I think 8 and 9 to start the game and 7 of 8 to start the second half. Played good the rest of the time too, but why specifically do you think you came out of the locker room both times so efficient?
Well, to start the game off, we knew that we had to come out with a lot of energy, be able to hit first. You know, set the tone for the rest of the game. You know, shooting the ball well really helps do that. You know, we were able to get stops on defense and force them into tough shots and be able to rebound the basketball. To start the second half, they came out with a lot of energy. You know, they made a couple of their first shots. So, as far as us on the offensive end, we were able to take our time and be able to get the looks that we practice on. You know, going through all of our reads and getting the matchup that we wanted and be able to execute.
Front on the left.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo, Mississippi. Christian, on those fast starts, man, they threw a lot of different guys at you, a lot of different guys guarding you, but you were able to really just kind of have your way. What were you seeing defensively from Ole Miss?
We were planning on them to double the post whenever I got it going in the post, but they didn't do that. So. You know, whenever I have a one-on-one matchup, it's pretty much my world, whatever I want to do, be able to make the right play, whether that's to shoot it or to pass it, or to, you know, keep the ball moving. So I feel like I did a good job of that.
Any additional questions for our student athletes? Thank you, guys. As a reminder, the locker room is open at this time as well. Questions for Coach Kruger? Start on the back row on the inside aisle.
Dick Cox with Lindy Sports. Coach, talk a little bit about your balanced scoring. You had 2 players with 20, one with 19, one with 18, and that's pretty good.
Always like that. We've had different guys, you know, different times in the year step up and be key scorers for us. Not always the same guy, but today they kind of all hit on the same date. So. The guys moved the ball. They got good looks, like they said. You know, Dude played great out of the post. Christian James making shots early. Brady, I thought Richard, perhaps one of his better games of the year. Yeah, again, a lot of different guys stepped up and played well.
On the back row.
Coach, Larry DiBiase, Fighting World Sports. Never gets old for you, does it? I mean, the 5th time to the playoffs and Final Four, and just like you said on Odom's, he came in, he's averaging like a little over 6 points a game. He runs for 20, and you just went crazy out of the game. And, you know, Ole Miss made a run, and you're still up 15 or so. So great defensive effort. What goes into all of that?
Yeah, like the guys mentioned, they've been sharp in practice, been very focused. Thought they really transferred things they've done all week to the game today. Got off to a good start. That always helps. You know, reinforce confidence, reinforce the things that they've been working on in practice. But again, just happy for them. You know, it's a special opportunity to win tournament games. They're hard to win, And anytime you can do that, it's a good memory for the rest of their lives.
On the aisle left side.
Lon, you had a good inside presence today. You shot well from the outside. Is that the kind of thing you need to do when you face who you probably are going to face in the second round?
Of course, to have a chance against, if it is Virginia, then they're one of the best teams in the country. You've got to get everyone playing well and make shots. That's probably the biggest thing against good basketball teams, making shots. And easier said than done. But again, if it is Virginia, then we know hands will be full.
On the right side, front row.
Steve Serby, New York Post. How different is it coaching this team compared to last year's team with Trae Young?
Yeah. Hugely different. Anytime you got a player like Trae that led the country in scoring and assist, a lot of things revolve around him. Pretty much everything did. And here you've got a situation where we need more balance. We need more guys contributing, and kind of the other extreme, if you will. So different guys at different times throughout the year have stepped up and been our leading scorer. And Christian Doolittle, Christian James, Brady Manick, certainly at the core of it, but different guys like Richard tonight. He's worked awfully hard, and very happy for him.
It's going to be this second row inside aisle.
Coach, what will the next couple of days look like for you and the staff, kind of, watching games, getting ready, scouting, and should you face Virginia, what stands out about them offensively with the way they've shot the ball as well?
Yeah, they're terrific. They got a lot of terrific players. Tony does a great job. They are very secure in what they do. They do it as well as anyone in the country, defensively and offensively. So they're fantastic.
Third row in the right side.
Tory Rees, Newswatch Ole Miss. Coach, Ole Miss threw a lot of things at you, man-to-man, 1-3-1, 2-3, and you guys were able to seamlessly pick that apart. I mean, what went into that, and how were you able to just easily dissect them on the offensive end?
Well, in the end, making shots, makes it look good for sure. But I thought the guys recognized things well. Again, transferred things from practice to the game today. When you do what you work on, and then shots also go in, and it works out pretty good.
Staying there, second question.
Colin Rivera, Newswatch Ole Miss. Coach, as you saw Kermit Davis transform a program from how they did last season, just some comments on what you think Kermit Davis has done, despite beating them today. What do you think he's done with the program?
Yeah, I think Kermit's fantastic. Everywhere he's been, he's done a fantastic job to go in and get a team immediately to the tournament. It's amazing. It doesn't happen very often. So he's got good players, but I think his ability to get everyone working together and doing things that they do well individually and trust in one another, I think that's the strength of Coach Davis and the great job he's done everywhere he's been.
Coach, this will be the last question on the back row.
Josh Kendall, the State. Lon, what do you think it meant to your guys that Trae showed up, and were you surprised that he made the drive?
That's great. Yeah, it's great. Again, not that far from Atlanta, I guess, but it's still in the middle of his schedule. It's not easy to take a few hours out of any day. But and Trae's playing so well. He's playing great, especially in the last month to 6 weeks. Fantastic to see what he's doing, and certainly our guys appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We have Ole Miss head coach Kermit Davis, accompanied by student athletes Terrence Davis, Devontae Schuler, and Brian Tyree. As a reminder, if we could identify ourselves with your name and affiliation, if we're going to have an opening statement from Coach Davis, and then we'll open the floor to the questions to the student athletes and allow them to be dismissed after no more questions for them. Coach.
Yep, obviously it was a really disappointing day for our team. They just, right from the start, Oklahoma, give them all the credit, just totally outclassed us, out-toughed us. They did it in every area. So give Oklahoma a lot of credit. They played really, really well. But this is not going to define who we are, you know, based on when we took the program over a year and how much progress that we have made in a year. So I'm so proud of these guys, these three guys. I mean, they were unbelievable all year long. We obviously, you know, we didn't play like we wanted today, but to be with this group the whole year, I'm extremely excited about our future. And just give Lyon and Oklahoma a lot of credit. And if they play like that, they'll have a chance to win the next round game too.
Questions for our student athletes. We'll start on the second row on the left.
Terrence, that's your last game as an Ole Miss Rebel, and you went out. It's lost, but you went out playing really well. Just what was it like out there in your final game, and going out that way, is it tough for you?
Definitely going out, you know, that way was tough for me. They jumped on us quick. I think it was like 11-0. I looked up. You know, you just got to give them all the credit, man. They made the tough play. They explored mismatches and things like that. But yeah, it was pretty tough.
Right side, third row.
Torrey Rees, Newswatch Ole Miss. Brian, you know, the last couple of games for you, 2 tourney games. You really struggled there offensively. I mean, what was it that kind of you struggled with as far as getting your shot going? Were you frustrated with that?
Yeah, I just couldn't make a shot. It's unacceptable. I got to become a more consistent player over this off season, and just got to be better.
Second row on the left side.
Parrish Alford, Daily Journal, Tupelo. Terrence, they got off to a particularly hot start in the post with Doolittle in there. What did you see? I know you weren't matched up against him so much early on, but you know, what allowed them to be so effective with him in the post early?
Well, I mean, that's part of his game. I would say, you know, he got better throughout the season this year. I think he was like most improved player in the Big 12, and you know, he just went, you know, explored mismatches. That's what Oklahoma does, and you know, that's what they did with Doolittle.
Front row on the left side.
Ryan Rippey, Super Talk Mississippi. Brian, I know this probably didn't end the way you guys wanted it to, but as a player, are you able to process the step you guys made as a program this year?
Of course. I mean, as a player and, you know, as a competitor, you want to win every game, especially our first time being in March Madness. But I know when we take a step back probably a few weeks from now and we look at what we did this season, we had a great body of work, and we all got better as people and as basketball players on and off the court this year. So there's a lot of positives, but, you know, never happy or satisfied with losing like that.
Third row on the right side.
Terrence, Colin Rivera, Newswatch Ole Miss. Rather than just dissecting this game, having a year with head coach Kermit Davis, I just want you to expand on what he's meant to you this year, coming in and flipping a program from 12 wins to 20. Just comment, you know, how your relationship has been with Kermit so far this year.
Well, the first time meeting Coach, you know, he looked me right in the eye and just told me, you know, it wasn't going to be a rebuilding year, and you know, I believed him. We all believed it, and man, he just brought so much success, you know, upon us, me, you know, my teammates in this program, and you know, he's gonna do great things, you know, here at Ole Miss.
Front row on the left.
Nate Gabler, Oxford Eagle. Bree, you talked Thursday about just how you guys maybe have a lot of basketball experience, but not a lot in the tournament. How much do you think that factored in, especially the first 10 minutes, nerves, experience?
Yeah, they got out to a really good start, and Oklahoma's a really experienced tournament team. I think they made it like 4 of the last 5 years, so gotta give them all the credit. Even in my matchup, whoever I was guarding was exploiting me up for most of the game, so I know it. Everybody saw it, and you know, I'm not happy with it, but back to the drawing board we go.
Second row, left side.
Ben Garrett, the Ole Miss Spirit. Devontae, with TD gone, Kermit's already said he thought you were the most important player on the roster this year and what you did. Do you anticipate taking another step as far as leadership is concerned and establishing yourself in that way?
Definitely. Me learning from TD and practicing with him every day, I learned a lot just from him being tough on the court, and you know his mindset off the court. I learned a lot, and I'm just trying to work on myself and getting better.
Second row in the aisle.
Parrish Hall for Daily Journal, Tupelo. Devontae, turnovers for you guys in the first half. Was that a part of nerves or their toughness, or did you guys just not start like you wanted to?
We didn't start like we wanted to, but I think the main thing, we weren't really running offense. We were just shooting the ball on the first side, and we usually have a high percentage of getting on the second and third side. But I think that was the most thing. They just out-toughed us on rebounds, and like Bree and TD said, they explored on mixed matches.
On the right side.
This is for any of you guys. You guys came out with a lot of energy in the second half. It looked like you guys cut it down to about 12. I mean, what were they able to do offensively that just threw you off again in the second half?
Well, we did make a pretty good run to start the half. Coach was, trying to tell us at halftime, just get it down to a manageable game and, see what they do. But credit to Oklahoma, they stayed with it and just kept moving the ball in the zone or in the man. We were throwing at them, and they were making shots and making plays. So they, expanded the lead back out, and, you saw what the outcome was.
Are there any additional questions for the student athletes? Last question for the students in the back right corner.
This is for Devontae. Being a hometown kid, obviously, does it make it easier or harder for you to take this loss maybe in the same town that kind of helped you?
I don't think it really was a hard loss for me. I think me just coming back home and playing in front of my fans and family for the most part, I think that was the main thing. The fact that we lost, and not what I wanted to happen, but it's nothing I can really do about it. But just keep working.
Thank you, guys. Just as a reminder, the locker room is open at this time as well for the student athletes. First question for Coach here on the left, second row.
Kermit, you went into this matchup saying that Dom and Bruce guarding Doolittle in that front line was probably the biggest matchup of the game. They struggled there. You've been talking about front line help all year. Do you anticipate this offseason being really important as far as adding up there and trying to get bigger and longer and more athletic?
It's got to. I mean, when I started watching Oklahoma the first 5 minutes, I knew what was going to be a problem, is that we're playing 2-5 men, and Doolittle, you're just trying to guard him at wide post areas at 15, 17 feet. And then what they do with they got big guards. James and Odoms are big physical guards. And it would kind of put you in matchup problems at 16, 17 feet. It's just kind of a one-on-one game. It's not something we've been great at all year. But we did get exploited right there with Bruce and Dom. And you're right. We've got to improve the guys in our program, and we've got to improve our team with a couple guys in the spring for sure.
Front row on the right.
David Colson, Blowing Rock News. Kermit, you called a timeout with less than 2 minutes into the game. What was it that you saw right then and there that showed you that something wasn't right with your team?
It just seemed like we wouldn't contest a shot. I mean, we would guard, and our hands were down, and it was just so easy for them. I saw kind of a different look on our team, and I just wanted to call a quick timeout and just kind of settle into our team, and didn't do a lot of good because they went on about another 8-0 run. But I just saw a different look, and I was just trying to get our guys' attention to kind of settle in. And obviously we never really did until the first maybe 4 or 5 minutes of the second half.
Third row right side.
Coach Colin Rivera, Newswatch Ole Miss. Just like I said with TD, rather than just dissecting this one game, season as a whole, Coach Kruger has said you've done a phenomenal job when I asked him from Oklahoma, saying how well you've developed these players to flip a program from upside down. So I just want to ask you, what have these boys meant to you? And, obviously very emotional with TD being his last game. But just from an emotional standpoint, how great has this season been for you and those players?
Yeah, it's really been it's been probably one of the most rewarding years I've ever had as a coach, as far as a team maybe overachieving, and just our staff did a great job. These guys did a great job. I know it wasn't the last couple of games. Bree and Tyree may have been the most improved guy in the SEC Went from on no team preseason, averaged 9 or 10 to second in the league in scoring. Devontae Schuler's never played point guard in his life, played point all year long, and then TD had a great year. So, it was. We'll reflect back. I think just what they said in about a week. The biggest thing I take away is just so appreciative of how our players and the fan base connected, how we grew there. We got a lot of work to do. There's no question about that. But what Ross and Keith and just the people, the administration, the opportunity they gave us, I mean, it's going to be hard for me for about 2 or 3 days, but then we'll get right back on the road recruiting, and there's a lot of positive things to think about.
Coach, front row on the left.
Nick Suss, Clarion Ledger. Kermit, you made a late switch to start Dom instead of Bruce. What did you like about that matchup with Dom early? And
Just Dom had been better in practice than Bruce. We just always reward guys on practice, and I told Blake or KJ, who had the most rebounds, and then the 4 or 5 practices leading up would start, and Blake had more rebounds than KJ. And so, I knew it was going to be a tough matchup for both of them, and Dom didn't get off to a great start defensively.
Coach, staying here on the left.
Brian Rippey, Super Talk Mississippi. Kermit, do you feel like this year expedited the process of what you're trying to build at all? Does it change your outlook going forward at all?
Yeah, it expedited, obviously, fan interest. I think it hopefully expedites recruiting just from a national level, just because of what people saw, not today, but just at the tournament. Saw our fan base and those nationally televised games, in the pavilion. So I really did. We got a lot of work now. We got a lot of holes to fill. We got to get guys better, but I do think it sped up the process.
Coach, staying on the left, second row.
Being here at the Ole Miss Spirit. Kermit, now that the year is over, how much of this team look like what you would like for it to look like later on down the line? I mean, did you ever get close to molding it in your image, or did you? I mean, how far along do you need to come? Where does it need to get fixed?
Yeah, I really believe. From an emotional standpoint, Ben, I don't know. It's almost like we got it together and one at Missouri to kind of get us in the tournament. To get us 10-8 and 20 wins. I think the Tennessee and Kentucky games, we played about as well as we can play. One possession losses at home, the crowd was unbelievable. Almost emotionally. Then the Alabama game, we're up 16. I think it just kind of took its toll. It didn't ever really look like what I really want it to look like. I mean, I was really proud of their improvement. But for us to really be a contender in the SEC, bodies have got to change. We got to develop a lot better depth. So there's still a lot of work for us to do, Ben.
This is the last question for Coach. Front row.
Coach, you brought a team in here that had never played in the NCAA tournament. How much do you think that kind of factored into, especially how they opened the game, and how much does that experience in the tournament help moving forward?
Yeah, I don't know how much experience mattered, or was it just Oklahoma was just better? They were just better, and then they got their head up, and then they made a couple tough shots. I mean, James probably has made, for the Big 12, probably had a little disappointing year in the Big 12, and he wasn't shot making, and today, boy, he got off to a great start, and then, like I said, Doolittle made shots, and so I think it has a little effect. I just really think Oklahoma was just better in all phases today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.